The rain-soaked streets of Willow Creek gleamed like polished onyx, reflecting the faint glow of the lone street lamp that cast an eerie shadow over the abandoned diner. It was as if the town itself was a cold, dead thing, waiting to be exhumed. In the heart of this forsaken place, a lone figure emerged from the darkness, her slender frame swathed in a rumpled yellow raincoat. Lily Pearl Wiles, 27, with hair the color of autumn leaves and eyes that had seen the depths of the underworld. She carried a battered suitcase, adorned with faded stickers, and a dented guitar case slung over her shoulder. Lily had rolled into town on the last bus of the evening, drawn by the faint scent of desperation that clung to Willow Creek like a shroud. She was a troubadour of the damned, a collector of the forgotten and the lost. Her songs whispered secrets to the wind, and the wind carried her melodies to the ears of those who dared to listen. As she slipped into the diner, the neon sign creaked in the wind, casting an otherworldly glow on her face. The proprietor, a stooped man named Gus, looked up from his stool, his eyes red-rimmed from a lifetime of smoke and regret. He regarded Lily with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion, his voice a low rumble as he spoke. "You're new around here, kid. What brings you to Willow Creek?" Lily's smile was a fragile thing, a whispered promise of secrets and lies. "Just passing through, Gus. I heard the town had a story to tell." Gus's eyes narrowed, his gaze lingering on the suitcase and guitar case. "You're a singer, huh? We don't get many of those around here. What kind of stories you looking to hear, kid?" Lily's fingers drummed a staccato beat on the counter, her eyes glinting with a hint of mischief. "The kind that'll make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, Gus. The kind that'll make you wonder if the darkness outside is watching you, waiting to pounce." Gus snorted, a dry, wheezing sound. "You're looking for the Morley House story, then?" Lily's smile never wavered, but her eyes sparkled with an unholy interest. "Tell me, Gus, what's the truth about the Morley House?" The diner's patrons, a scattering of truckers and late-night revelers, began to take notice of the conversation, their conversations dying on their lips as they leaned in, ears perked up like dogs on high alert. Gus, sensing an audience, cleared his throat, his voice taking on a conspiratorial tone. "You see, kid, the Morley House has been empty for near on 20 years, since the night the family disappeared. Some say they were taken by the devil himself. Others claim it was the work of the Shadow Man, a monster that roams these woods, hunting the innocent." Lily's face was a picture of rapt attention, her fingers stilled on the counter as if she'd conjured the very darkness itself into the diner. Gus leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper. "But I'll tell you this, kid. If you're brave or stupid enough to venture out to the Morley House, be prepared to face what's waiting in the shadows. They say if you listen close on certain nights, you can still hear the Morley children whispering in the walls." As Gus's words trailed off, the diner's patrons exchanged nervous glances, their faces illuminated only by the faint glow of cigarettes and the soft hum of the neon sign outside. The air was heavy with the weight of secrets, the silence punctuated only by the soft patter of rain against the pavement. Lily's eyes never left Gus's face, her gaze a piercing intensity that made the old man shift uncomfortably in his seat. "What do you mean, whispering in the walls?" she asked, her voice low and husky, like a summer breeze on a hot August night. Gus's Adam's apple bobbed up and down as he swallowed, his eyes darting towards the rain-soaked streets, as if fearful of being overheard. "They say the Morley kids, Timmy and Emily, they were taken from their beds, never to be seen again. But some folks claim to have heard their whispers, late at night, echoing in the empty halls of that house. Whispers of a presence, a darkness that lingers, waiting to snuff out the light." A shiver coursed through Lily's slender frame, but her face remained a mask of fascination, her eyes aglow with an unholy excitement. "I'd like to see it," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The Morley House, I mean. Can you take me there, Gus?" Gus's eyes widened, his face paling beneath the fluorescent lights. "You don't want to go out there, kid. That place, it's cursed. You can feel it the moment you step inside." Lily's smile was a thin, wicked thing, a promise of secrets and lies. "That's exactly why I need to go," she said, her voice dripping with an otherworldly allure. "I have a song to write, Gus. A song that'll make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And I need the Morley house to inspire me." As the rain outside intensified, drumming against the pavement like 1,000 tiny drums, Gus's face seemed to sag, his eyes clouding over with a mixture of fear and resignation. "All right, kid, I'll take you to the Morley house. But don't say I didn't warn you." The rain-soaked streets of Willow Creek seemed to grow darker, the shadows twisting and writhing like living things as Gus led Lily through the deserted alleys and crumbling sidewalks. The only sound was the rhythmic beat of raindrops on pavement, a morbid cadence that echoed the unease growing in Lily's chest. Gus halted in front of a rusty old pickup, its paint faded to a dull sheen, the windows streaked with dirt and grime. "This is our ride," he muttered, jerking open the creaking door. Lily slid into the passenger seat, her eyes fixed on the dashboard's cracked vinyl, the air thick with the scent of stale cigarettes and worn leather. As Gus started the engine, the radio crackled to life, spewing forth a tinny rendition of a forgotten hymn. The truck's tires groaned on the wet pavement, the wipers thumping out a slow, mournful rhythm as they left the diner's neon glow behind. The darkness beyond the town's limits seemed to swallow them whole, the only light coming from the occasional flash of lightning that split the stormy sky. 20 minutes of silence passed, the only sound the rhythmic drumbeat of the rain, before Gus finally spoke up, his voice low and hesitant. "We're getting close, kid. You can feel it, can't you?" Lily's eyes, fixed on the darkness beyond the windshield, seemed to gleam with an unholy excitement, her fingers drumming an erratic tattoo on the dashboard. "I can feel it, Gus. The darkness, the weight of the whispers. It's all coming together." The truck lurched to a stop, the headlights casting an eerie glow on the overgrown driveway. Before them loomed the Morley house, its turrets reaching toward the stormy sky like skeletal fingers, the windows gaping like empty eye sockets. The wind died, the rain slowing to a drizzle, as if the very storm itself held its breath in anticipation. Gus's voice was barely audible, a whispered warning. "This is it, kid. The Morley house. You sure you want to go in?" Lily's smile was a cruel, fleeting thing, a promise of secrets and darkness. "I was born for this, Gus. Let's go raise some hell." As they stepped out of the truck, the silence was oppressive, the only sound the creaking of ancient wooden floorboards beneath their feet. The air was heavy with the scent of decay and rot, the once grand mansion now a testament to the ravages of time and neglect. Lily's eyes sparkled with an unholy excitement, her fingers trailing along the banister as they climbed the stairs, the wooden steps groaning beneath their weight. Gus followed closely, his eyes darting nervously from shadow to shadow, as if expecting something to leap from the darkness. The upper floors loomed above, the doors creaking open like hungry mouths, revealing rooms frozen in time. Lily wandered, her footsteps echoing off the walls, as she explored the abandoned bedrooms, each one a testament to the lives interrupted, the dreams abandoned. In the master bedroom, a single, flickering candle cast eerie shadows on the walls, illuminating the remnants of a family's shattered life. A child's doll, a father's watch, a mother's perfume bottle, all frozen in the moment of departure. Lily's gaze lingered on a faded photograph, the Morley family's smiling faces gazing back, their eyes seeming to follow her as she moved. Her fingers hovered over the glass, as if she might conjure the secrets from the very woodwork itself. Suddenly, the candle's flame danced wildly, casting an eerie, otherworldly glow on the walls. The shadows seemed to coalesce, taking on a life of their own, as if the darkness itself was awakening, sensing Lily's presence. Gus's voice was barely audible, his words laced with a growing unease. "Kid, I think it's time we got out of here. This place, it's not right." But Lily's eyes were fixed on the shadows, her fingers still hovering over the photograph. "Not yet, Gus. I'm not finished here. There's a song to be written, and I think I found my inspiration." As she spoke, the rain outside intensified, drumming against the walls, the wind howling through the empty halls like a chorus of restless spirits. In that moment, it seemed the Morley house itself was awakening, its secrets stirring, waiting to be unleashed. Lily's eyes seemed to glaze over, her gaze fixed on some point beyond the candle's flickering flame. Her fingers, still hovering over the photograph, began to tremble, as if channeling some unseen force. Gus's voice was laced with growing unease. "Lily, kid, snap out of it. We need to get out of here now." But Lily didn't respond, her eyes fixed on some internal vision. Her fingers began to move, as if typing on an invisible keyboard, the movement staccato and deliberate. Suddenly, the candle's flame died, plunging the room into darkness. The shadows seemed to writhe and twist around them, as if alive. Gus's breathing grew ragged, his eyes darting wildly around the room. In the darkness, Lily's voice whispered, a low, husky tone that sent shivers down Gus's spine. The children whispered secrets to the walls that heard their screams. Gus's hand closed around Lily's arm, his grip like a vice. "Lily, that's enough. We're getting out of here now." But Lily's eyes remained fixed on some internal vision, her voice a hypnotic whisper. The darkness seeped into their bedrooms, a creeping Khoisa. The shadow man came, with eyes that burned like embers. As she spoke, the air seemed to thicken, the shadows coalescing into a presence that seemed to fill the room. Gus's heart raced, his breath coming in short gasps. Suddenly, the lights flickered back to life, the candle's flame burning bright once more. Lily's eyes snapped back into focus, her gaze locking onto Gus's. With a shiver, Gus realized that Lily's eyes had changed, the irises now a deep, burning amber, like hot coals. Her voice, still husky, still whispered secrets to the wind. "I've got it, Gus. I've got the song." As they stumbled down the stairs, the darkness seemed to follow, a living, breathing entity that had awakened within the Morley house. Gus knew that they had to get out, before it was too late, but Lily's smile was a wicked, triumphant thing, her eyes aglow with an unholy light. She knew that she had unleashed something that would change the course of her life and the lives of those around her, forever.